Seventh graders, hey, good morning. How's it going? So, your next assignment is going to be what PLTW calls a STEM investigation. And what it is you're going to put together, you're going to do a little research on a product of your choice. We'll talk about this in a little more detail. You're going to get to choose any product you want. So hopefully you make it something you're interested in. If you're interested in a sport like baseball, you could say you could do a baseball bat. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But then you're going to put together a Google slide presentation. And then what I've always done in class is kids have presented to the class. What I'd like you to try to do, and you're probably better at this than I am, maybe you make your Google slideshow and then you could set up your phone if you have one, um, or any camera, and videotape yourself presenting the slideshow like you were presenting to the class. And then I can watch your presentation and your slideshow. So here's what it's all about. You have this on Google Classroom, so you can open this, follow along. Engineering, technology, and science. We use these terms every day, but what do they mean? And what impact have they had on past and present lives? For example, some of you may have had an x-ray for a broken arm, or your parents may have a water purification device on your household faucet. Were the products and innovations created because of science or because of technology, by a scientist or by an engineer? So all different things to think about. Who created these? Why were they created? Last year we talked about engineers design and create things because of human needs and wants. Here's your chance to find out about a product of your choice, maybe a potato chip or the sticky note, or even the color television. While you are exploring, consider asking questions about what effect the various developments have had on the evolution of civilization. There's a lot of products out there actually that were accidents. Like, for example, you may not know, it says a sticky note here. That was an accident. A chemist at 3M, I don't know what he was working on, but he was working on an adhesive, a glue for something, and he spilled it on his desk and spilled it on some papers. And then he discovered that he could take those papers and stick them to something and pull them off and stick them again, and hence came up with the sticky note. So here's your procedure. You, unfortunately, just you now, it's normally you and your partner, but this is you and your partner. You're going to have to do it on your own since you're doing it at home. You will investigate a technological artifact and find out about its history and impact on civilization. You will learn how it may be used differently today. You will use various resources to find the information, including print, multimedia, and the web. Be aware that every site on the web is not always reliable, so verify your resources. So, like Wikipedia, for example, people can just put a definition on there. Now, most times I think they're pretty reliable, but you want to check those. Um, you're going to answer the questions to guide you. That's also an attachment on this assignment. Not in your notebook. I'll explain that in a little bit. The questions to guide you are going to be exactly that. They're questions to guide you. Your teacher must approve the artifact you are researching. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. So working by yourself, this is in pairs. Okay. You will gather information about the technological development you choose by answering the questions to guide you. This is the questions to guide you. You have this attachment too. I'll go to the top of it. I'll talk about that in a minute. Your teacher will provide you with, actually it says, I'll provide you with websites and book resources. Actually, no, you're just going to research on the web. Here's a key. Here's what you're coming out with. Prepare a 2 to 3 minute Google Slides presentation that includes all the required information to present to your classmates. The presentation could include a video, pictures, and samples of the technological artifact that show different innovations. So a 2 to 3 minute Google slide presentation. Kids always ask, how many slides do I need? You can have 2 slides if you think it covers it, or 100 slides, but I don't think you're going to get 100 slides in 2 to 3 minutes either. So what you're going to want to do after you put your presentation together, after you put the slideshow together, is practice presenting it. And you can stand by your computer and click and just video it. And heck, the advantage with this is you can keep trying it. And if you goof up, you can do it again. So you got multiple chances at your presentation part. So then at the end, you're going to answer these conclusion questions. But let's talk about the questions to guide you, because this is a guideline for what you want on your presentation, on your slides. Now, does it have to be, kids always ask, should I have one slide for each one of these? You can, you don't have to. Maybe you combine them. Like maybe your first slide is a title slide and it says, the Model T by Mr. Wakefield. And then your next slide might say, the Model T was created for transportation and gave many people a chance to have an automobile that didn't have one before. And even on the same slide, maybe you say, and the inventor was Henry Ford, and he made the Model T in the year so and so, which I don't even remember. But yeah, you can do a slide for each one. What doesn't make a whole lot of sense, kids will put the question on the slide. You don't really have to put the question on the slide. Just like say, okay, the inventor was Henry Ford in the year so and so. You don't have to say who was the original inventor, when was the product invented, and then answer that. So we got who is the original inventor, when was the product invented, how was it used, when originally invented, how is it used today. So you may say it's used the same as it was many years ago when it was created, or hey, it's evolved and it's used a whole lot different than it was. What are some of the innovations that this product has undergone since its original invention? Okay, what's an innovation? We talked about it last year. An innovation is an improvement, right? An invention is something brand new. Innovation is an improvement. What improvements has it gone through? Something that's pretty cool here. If you did something that has a lot of improvements, like say maybe the cell phone or even just the iPhone, you don't want to get too broad because then you get too much information. But if you did say the iPhone, you could have a timeline, maybe even a picture of each iPhone that came out and what year they came out. You got a whole timeline, and then you could even say what new features they added to each iPhone. So a timeline is pretty cool to put on a slide there.